Hello, I just wanted to do a quick little thing before this podcast just to say there was a lot of audio issues throughout the recording and throughout the stream, so there's a lot of moments where people's voices go robotic or really quiet or just sound generally pretty terrible. I've done my best to try and fix these problems, but yeah, there's a lot wrong with this episode, so hopefully it's not a huge issue when you listen to it, but yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff going on, so hopefully next week we can get it back to normal, and from now on we can stop sounding like we're robots or that we're super quiet and barely audible. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Thanks.
Oh, is it over? Oh, that's not a countdown, is it? I just asked you for a countdown and you just said yeah and then didn't do it.
It's because it was literally just ending as you asked.
Oh, you could have warned me. Oh, professional as always. Just go to the touch of Sunday, bloody Sunday. And it fits in with our true crime theme. So we've got true crime list, we've got a bit of fan mail, we've got stories, jokes, and we got Kai.
Hello.
Yeah, nice awkward intro.
Well, that was just harsh. Although, to be fair, after last week's performance, I think you're probably spot on because I embarrassed myself last week.
Well, at least hopefully Chris can give me back countdowns for when the songs are going to end, as opposed to, can I have a countdown? Yeah, and then just sheer silence. Bit of dead air never did anyone any harm.
I thought you would have been able to tell that the song had ended.
No, I was opening my beer and watching Kai make angry eyes at me, and now I know why.
Yeah. I think if you share the stream, because when you've got the music, it like cuts in and out. You should probably talk about this off air, to be honest.
It's probably not the conversation. So, Colton Touch is back, the number one podcast of dead people. We'll run through what we used to be, because we need to do it every show. So we used to be a college radio show with a massive, the only show with a following is probably the most delicate way to put it. And then that ended 4 years ago, and we started it again. We're just like a magazine chat show podcast type thing, and we're going to edit it. Well, we'll have it live with music on Twitch, and then we'll edit the music out and we'll put it on Spotify. I think Diesel were emailing analytics yesterday, and there's also another one like Podbean or something. Wherever you get podcasts from is probably on there somewhere. So
we're multimedia now.
Exactly. We're a corporation at the moment, because we're all social distancing as well. We're all sat in separate houses, but eventually we can start bringing it in. Hopefully we'll have a webcam and we can sort of do a little bit more. And Chris, you've got a list for us as well, calling upon you. So he's our technical advisor and our resident list man as well. Chris, do you want to tell us what your list's about?
Yeah, so since we're doing true crimes and stuff today, I thought it was a good idea to do a list of the top 10 weirdest things that are illegal around the world.
There we go. Kicking us off at number 10.
So, first up, we have the fact that it's illegal to chew gum in Singapore. Apparently because vandals kept using chewing gum to mess with the mass rapid transit system, and the Housing and Development Board spent $150,000 a year to clean gum litter. They banned all gum substances in 1992.
Happy days. I don't know how that stops transport though.
Yeah, what were they doing? Like sticking it to train tracks and stuff?
Yeah, must have been.
Pushing it into the driver's eyes. You sure that won't stop a train though?
Don't know, I guess it depends how powerful it is.
How much gum?
I don't know.
If there was like 10,000 people spitting gum on the tracks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gum.
Oh, they've got them weird like bullet trains out there as well, haven't they, I guess?
That is true.
I don't know. Alright, Chris, number 9.
Next up, we have the fact that Winnie the Pooh is illegal in Poland because his bottom half is naked. Poland issued a ban on Winnie the Pooh around playgrounds and schools because they found him a bit too risque for the likes of impressionable children.
Carl, that's why you're banned from schools, isn't it?
Oh,
Schools
here we
and
go.
playgrounds.
Yeah. So they're trying to make me into the resident nonce of this radio show. I just want to say for the record, I'm not a nonce. That was Max.
So He's banned. I know he's banned in China as well, isn't he? Because everyone kept saying that the Chinese president looked like Winnie the Pooh, and they were posting like propaganda posters of Winnie the Pooh everywhere. All right, number 8.
So, men must wear Speedos on French beaches. It's French law that if you're on a French beach, you can't wear any loose-fitting swim trunks on beaches, swimming pools, or other public places where a swimsuit is required attire. You have to wear a Speedo, apparently.
So you can't wear, I don't know what, like a normal swimming costume, broad shorts.
That's awkward though, because wasn't the D-Day landings? That was on like French beaches. So imagine you're there like paying your respects, and you've got to stroll down in Speedos.
I mean, I guess it
seems a bit disrespectful.
Guess you can wear normal clothes, but I think it means if you're wearing like swimming sort of attire, it has to be Speedo.
What an oddly specific rule to have.
Yeah, it seems. How would you enforce that as well? Like, just some poor policeman's got the duty of going around checking everyone's knobs out to make sure they're wearing Speedos.
You've not got your bollocks out. Come on, get the Speedos on.
Yeah. Bizarre. All right, what was that, number 8? So we'll do number 7, and then we'll have a song and then a commercial break. So Chris, number 7.
Break. We don't have commercials.
We're sponsored.
Sponsored by what?
You'll find out.
This is news to me.
So it's illegal to ride a cow drunk in Scotland. There was a 1872 law which mandates people not to be drunk when in charge of a cow, horse, carriage, or steam engine.
You can ride a cow sober.
Yeah, just not.
Can you even ride cows?
Apparently
Guess so. They're Scottish, aren't they? So they got cow whispering abilities.
The fact that this law exists definitely means that too many people rode cows and horses.
Yeah. Do you think they were doing like cow races back in the day, like drunken cow races?
I hope so.
Pimping their cows out.
I'd definitely rather watch that than the Grand National.
Yeah. Although I suppose the cow would have to be put down when it falls. Can cows get back up?
Horses can get back up. It's just easier and quicker to shoot them.
Yeah, but it seems cruel.
Imagine that, you trip up and then it's so much effort
someone
for you
comes
to get
and
up,
bolt
they just
guns you.
kill you.
You'd be fucked, Chris, because you fall over all the time.
Yeah, I have watched you trip over nothing more than me, which makes a nice change.
I was meeting Chris at the pub once, and he was like, I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, how are you?" He was like, "Yeah, I just fell over really bad. It was us walking to meet you." I was like, "How did you do it?" He was like, "Just tripped over my own feet."
I'm a very clumsy person, what can I say?
Brilliant. Chris did a lovely 10-second countdown there for me, like we asked.
The best countdown
a bit more prepared. It was the most deadpan countdown, I think.
He changed the speed of the countdown multiple times as well.
The time just kept randomly changing, and apparently we still had another minute of the song. It was just glitching on my end.
Oh, God.
All right, well, that was it Prince? What was the song called?
And Christian.
There we go. So why was that song a true crime song, Chris?
I cannot remember.
Oh, Christy. Research was done.
I'll quickly
heavily in preparation.
We've got plenty of time, so. I know
we have got plenty of time.
Singing about.
We are well prepared.
He kept singing about gun control the whole song, so I'm assuming it's about someone who died from getting shot.
Well,
sounds like America.
Oh my!
What? It does. Police don't care out there; just do what they want.
Yeah,
cool bit of dead air.
Chrome's frozen, so I can't see what it's about.
Brilliant. So I just looked it up, and it's not actually about crime.
Okay.
This is a shambles so far.
Prince is a Jehovah's Witness, and then I scrolled down a little bit further, and it just says, "Thankful God saved me from pornography."
Apparently, it lists historical events such as the murder of African-American children in Atlanta and the death of John Lennon. So I guess it kind of counts as true crime. There's lists of crimes.
Yeah. Well, I think I actually know about that Atlanta dead kids case because it's on the second series of Mindhunter.
No.
Little aside there for you.
Full of factual knowledge on the show. I, Christian Crimes. Where were we up to?
Yeah, so next up, I think this is number 5 or 6. It's illegal to wear a mask in public in Denmark, apparently. Apparently, officials claim the ban helps to properly identify people during crowded events, should anything negative happen, and someone needs to be identified.
It makes sense. Fair. Like, what about Halloween though? That must make Halloween.
I don't think European countries really do Halloween though, do they?
Except for here. That's about it.
Yeah, we only did it because America did it though.
Yeah.
Just losers. We got nothing original.
So, Chris, what is number 6?
Apparently, if you register as married at a hotel in North Carolina, you become legally married. Their marriage law rules in that state that if you outwardly present yourselves as husband and wife in public, it's deemed a legal marriage. So that means if you mark yourself down as married at a hotel, apparently that means you're legally married from then on.
So we go to gigs all the time, stay in hotels. So if Chris or Kai decided as a joke to put down that you were married while you're in Denmark, does that mean you're legally married from that point on?
Only if it's in North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. So
Yeah, but they don't like gay marriage, so I suppose
Yeah,
they just
it's
assume
true.
we're mates.
posh America.
America's terrible. It's a terrible country for terrible people.
Alright, Chris. Number 5.
Apparently it's illegal to dance in the dark after midnight in Japan, or at least it was until 2015. It was enacted in 1948 while US soldiers occupied Japan. It was placed to stop liberal Americans for corrupting the good citizens of Japan, and apparently after 2015 you can now dance after midnight as long as it's not in the dark.
Japan's just such a weird country. What even a law is that?
So, but alright, that is number 5 to number 4.
So that was number 4. Apparently we're on number 3. I keep losing track. Apparently it's illegal to build a sandcastle in Spain. The fines you get vary by location at their discretions. On the island of Mallorca, apparently you could get a €100 fine, but in Galicia you could get a €1,500 fine. So if you're going to Spain, don't build any sandcastles.
Does it say why you can't build the sandcastle? Or...
No. Unless you couldn't find out at all
Right.
why it's illegal, just it is illegal.
Yeah, these laws are just weird.
Yeah.
Like, what's the harm in a sandcastle?
Who knows? Maybe it promotes military activity.
Maybe.
But it's still bizarre as.
Yeah,
And you were up to number 3, so let's hear number 2.
In Australia, on Sundays after 12 p.m, it's prohibited to appear in public places wearing pink trousers.
Oh,
That's normal.
there we go. That's bizarre.
How many
Why?
people own pink trousers though? So
Not enough.
There we go.
big advocate
Alright.
for pink trousers.
Big pick up the pink trousers. Number 1.
So I should just say that this has been basically a random order. It's not like a ranking at all. So number 1 is a bit underwhelming. In Japan,
Why have you put it at number 1 then?
it was just the last thing on my list.
Fuck's sake.
When I got to 10 entries, I just stopped and I didn't rank them at all.
Brilliant.
In Japan, people aged 40 to 74 have to legally have their waist size under a certain size. It's how Japan fights obesity and its associated diseases, and people who don't follow those rules get fined. Apparently, men have to have their waist size at 33.5 inches or below, and women have to have them at 35.5 inches or below.
Who just said that's underwhelming? That's the weirdest.
Yeah, that was the most dramatic one.
That's just horrendous.
What's the repercussions if you are over?
You get fined?
Yeah.
Oh, if you're under or over?
Over, so you just get a fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Get fined, yeah.
Be under.
Fat fine. What was it?
Madness.
What was it for men?
It is 33.5 inches.
I've had it.
Yeah,
Fuck.
you'd be fucked.
Had to have it. Chris, you've probably had it as well because you're not much smaller than me.
No.
Kai's
be
the only
alright.
one that doesn't eat, so he'd be flying.
Wow.
You'd be paying
More
for the
body
drinks
shaming.
because we'd be paying fines off 24/7.
I pay for the drinks anyways because you're always skint.
So how do they have to enforce
No
that?
comment.
People just come round and make you what? It just seems too weird to enforce.
That's Japan for, yeah.
I guess you have to put it on like the census or something.
What?
Is it like a month by month thing? So like you could get multiple fines within the year, or is it like just a yearly checkup and one
Probably
fine?
yearly, I don't really know. That's all I could find.
Fair play. That's the list done then.
For one, I'm not up for people measuring my waist size anytime soon. All right, so coming up, we got fan mail, more stories. We got a new segment we're going to introduce. We'll talk a little bit more about the show, why you should follow, tweet us, I don't know, communicate with us in general, to be honest.
Yeah, so we can actually get some real fans.
Yeah, so we can
making them up.
Can have a bit more of a following. So we're doing a podcast about true crime at the moment. We're mixing up every week. So last week we spoke about cults. The first week was The Boys Are Back in Town. And obviously this week is true crime. So every song is fitted to a true crime. Kai,
that song was a lot more violent than I remember it being. But yeah, it's basically about how there was a big rap beef between Biggie and Tupac. Tupac got shot and claimed it was Biggie's people that did it. So Biggie wrote that song, Who Shot Ya?
There we go. So we were chatting about fan mail, which we receive inbound. There's so much that we can't even go through it sometimes. But this week I wanted to do something a little bit different. We receive weird fan mail all the time, but other people also receive weirder fan mail. And I've got a few that I've sort of compiled just to hear your opinions on, because they were funny, really. To be honest, there's no other reason. But before we go through that, Chris, do you want to go through our email address so you can tell them where to email the fan mail to?
Yeah, so if you want to get in contact with us and share your fan mail, just send it to coldtothetouch2020@gmail.com.
Banging, there we go. So that's our email address. So
we've got a Twitter as well, if you want to give that out.
Oh, yeah, so Twitter, you can get through our Twitch stream, and that is at capital C to the, and then a capital T. So at C to the T on Twitter. Follow us, like us, retweet us. Follow us on Twitch as well, because we want to get that sweet 3p from our ad revenue.
We want to quit our jobs, basically. Make this a living.
That's
based
the
on
goal.
This show so far. It's not.
And if anyone wants to sponsor us, just get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to discuss our terms and conditions.
There we go. All right. So the first one I found was the British boy band One Direction. I imagine they get weird stuff sent to them all the time. But once they received a real marriage certificate displaying the full names of all 5 of the members with a signature from an officiator. So some crazy lunatic out there has managed to convince someone who's allowed to officiate weddings to marry her to all of them.
Nice.
Does that actually stand up? Does that look a legit thing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Haven't you got to have sex first before it's official though? Because you can get it annulled, can't you?
I don't know how that works, to be honest. Is that not just a religious thing?
Maybe.
No,
I don't. Yeah, but marriage is religious, isn't it?
Yeah, marriage is marriage. I mean, I can't imagine Harry Styles is turning up at our house anytime soon. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I imagine he's got it annulled then.
Yeah, I think you can legally get it annulled if you haven't consummated the marriage or if you think they're mentally unfit.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Pretty shut and closed case for the One Direction boys, I think.
Right. So I also found that a fan once sent Taylor Swift an actual turtle shell with her face painted on it. No turtle, just a shell fully coloured in. There's no photo of it, unfortunately.
That's quite cool. I'd like a turtle shell.
I just want to know where the turtle went.
Yeah, true. They remove the turtle and just sling it.
Yeah, legit. Well, the best one, to be honest, I think is Alex Cooper, that once had a tiny coffin with the heart of a cat sent to him.
I think you're forgetting about Bjork, who had a nail bomb sent to her house.
All right, Chris.
I don't think that's bad.
Just completely derail the segment.
Right, no one got hurt.
That's all right then.
I think, to be honest, my favourite Alice Cooper story is when he was up and coming, he once went on stage and opened with Schools Out that everyone knew, and then also ended with 2 different alternate versions of Schools Out because no one else was responding to any of his other songs that he was playing.
It's like that time that Vampire Weekend played A-Punk like 4 times in a row at a festival.
Yeah, that's too much. My friend Josh from work is a massive Alice Cooper fan. He's seen him like 5 times. And he says that he puts on like a genuinely amazing stage show with like huge men with tiny heads and just crazy shit on stage, basically.
Yeah, he's in a band with Johnny Depp and the guitarist from Aerosmith.
That's pretty cool. Johnny Depp's in a couple of bands though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alright, so the last one I found was the one and only Jared Leto, the other cult worshipping lunatic. So a devoted fan once sent Jared Leto a severed human ear accompanied by the note, "Are you listening?"
He deserves it though. Jared Leto is such a weapon.
Jared Leto strung the ear and wore it as a necklace.
Of course he did. Twat.
So,
do you know he went on a retreat and he didn't even know that coronavirus was a thing until he got back.
Like a week later, wasn't it, or something, or a week after it had become a massive pandemic and was confused.
Such an idiot. People like that in Hollywood just live in like a different world. You just haven't got a clue.
Blame them, to be fair.
I can and I will.
There we go.
Callum, you're a robot.
Yeah, Callum, I think your sound's gone again.
Oh my god. Alright, you two. Talking, I'm going to get back.
Bob Geldof. What a guy.
So do you know the story behind that song, Kai?
Vaguely. But if you refresh my memory.
So in the 80s there was a teenage girl, I believe. She was teenage anyway. She had a gun and she started shooting people from her room, from like a front room, which was directly opposite a school. So she was like shooting kids and teachers and stuff like that. And
bloody hell.
When the police asked why she did it, her response was, "Because I don't like Mondays."
That's normal.
Is my audio back to...
Sort of, I guess.
We are playing...
Yeah, a lot of technical errors today. But did you hear Chris's explanation of that song?
Yeah, so she lost the plot, started shooting out. She killed 4 people. She killed 4 and injured like with a rifle.
Yeah, he's gone again.
Yeah.
I'm gone again.
Just out of curiosity, did she have a silicone chip in her head? Or is that just a fun lyrical thing that Bob Geldof made up?
I guess we'll never know.
Could ask Bob. I'll tweet him.
I watched a documentary about it years ago, but I literally cannot remember anything. Except for they interview her and she is basically a completely changed woman now. But they won't let her out of the psychiatric hospital she's in because they think she's still dangerous.
Yeah, probably fair enough, I think.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's the audio.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks Christ for that. Alright, so before we started speaking about the most boring man alive, that is Bob Geldof.
How dare you?
We are going to talk about something. I mean, it is a crime, I guess, but it's more a crime against humanity. There's a little bit of dodginess behind it, which is TikTok. Mm-hmm.
Chris has got it in for me tonight.
So, what it is obviously TikTok's a new viral sensation. Everyone's obsessed with it. It's like Vine, but the videos are longer, I guess, and the people that are on it are a lot more annoying than they were on Vine. But something I wanted to talk about was basically there's a lot of accounts on TikToks. It's people cosplay on it, and I realised when I was doing it is men are duetting. Clicked on the video, clicked on his channel to say just to see how old he was, and he was 23. So then I clicked on her channel, and she was 15. So I don't know if people just don't correlate the numbers, or they just see a woman and just assume she's automatically 18. But it seems strange. But it seems to be whenever you YouTube sort of TikTok, you can guarantee that at least 3 out of the top 10 videos are going to be about someone who's been using it to message girls and stuff. But no one picks up on it. No one reports on it because I guess they just make their age up, and then just in the bio they just put their actual real age in there. No one seems to question.
Yeah, you get people
It's
like
a proper,
that on
like, dark
Tinder all the
side.
time as well. Like loads of underage girls on there who put their actual age in the bio.
But no, like surely this man decided before he did this video to at least click on her profile and see how old she was, or he just went, she's fit, and then just decided to do it. And then when everyone's commenting saying you are a nonce, still decided to keep the video up and just resigned his fate, I guess.
I think if you're doing that like sort of video on TikTok, you're probably not gonna be paying attention to that sort of thing because you're not the most, I don't know, switched on.
No. So I actually wrote, I don't think we're doxing them because I guess it's public knowledge that they're obviously on TikTok. They've given away their handles. So one was someone called Emma Norts, who was 16 and looked a bit like a Poundland version of Samara Weaving, who was doing it, and a lot of people were duetting with her, and she turned out to be 16, which I guess is still in the UK okay, but anywhere else is still a bit of a no-no area.
But even though
and
it is
still a bit
okay,
weird anyway.
it's still not really okay, is
It's
it?
a bit, you crossing R. Kelly territory there.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a cosplay account called Skeptic Ugly. Now I've read it properly. So she was getting duets. She wasn't getting as many. But when I clicked on her account, she was 15. So I guess people aren't doing the research, or the men that are duetting them are just not doing research, or just look at. Sure, all it takes is one person to click to automatically not be creepy.
Yeah.
Like, it is illegal.
I guess if they're just doing like dancing?
I don't know, because they're all dressed up.
Or is it like a sort of like suggestive sort of?
It's suggestive. Everything's obviously suggestive. Like, no one's whacking their tits out for TikTok, but there's definitely elements of it which is a bit like.
Yeah, this is why I avoid TikTok as best I can, because it just seems like a wasteland.
The thing is, though, like, even these are people duetting, so they're going out their way to like respond with other videos to their thing, but they're getting like. That 16-year-old that was doing videos was getting like at least 300,000 engagements every time. She didn't have her age on her account, but someone had commented it, and I had to go onto Reddit to find out, because by that point I was curious that maybe she's kept it a little bit too well hidden. But like, if it's that easy for someone to hide their age and stuff, like, why is it allowed?
Yeah. There's a big YouTuber as well. At the moment, there's always, whenever there's like YouTube drama, it seems to include her, and she pretending or something, but really she's like 14. I don't know if anyone knows her name.
I'm not too sure, but it's
like
definitely...
her ex-boyfriend was like, I think 18, and he had to like break up with her and claim that he just didn't know. But yeah, that was pretty messed up. The internet's just ruined society, I think, pretty much. Is what we can take from this.
It's quite a big sweeping statement from TikTok as a breeding ground for nonces to the internet's a wasteland.
Yeah, but those nonces wouldn't have an outlet if TikTok didn't exist. You know what I mean?
I think the point I'm going for is that TikTok is now the biggest wasteland for them. Like, they've got so much freedom, and like, because it's become the norm, everyone can now do it and agree with it and follow it. Like, it's not just like I mean, if you do it on Facebook, you'll end up on the next episode of like pedo hunters. But this just seems everyone's doing it. Like, anyone that's duetting with a girl,
they should bring back To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen.
That's the one
seen that show. Yeah,
I think he still does it in America.
Oh, really?
Of course, he still needs money.
I know he has a YouTube channel now and does similar stuff on there, but it's really low budget and terrible.
What a letdown.
Disappointed. All right, so coming up, we've got a few more stories, and we're bringing in a new segment about recommendations, which is going to be very, very exciting. All right, so going into me saying, check it out, we got a new segment, so we're going to start doing proper recommendations. And we're going to go through it member by member, but I'll let Chris explain it properly.
Yeah, so we were discussing it. We thought it would be a cool idea of week by week we recommend a film and an album to discuss the following week. We'll pick a film and an album, and the other members will watch it, listen to it, or whatever, and then we'll discuss it all the following week. And it's going to be based on next week's topic as well.
All right, Chris set us off then. So Chris was the first one, and he's going to be doing it for this week. So Chris, if you want to tell us next week's theme and your album and film. Next
week's theme is war, keeping it just as light-hearted as we've been so far on the show.
Deep topic straight away.
I know.
You got to go in hard.
Exactly. Go hard or go on.
I spent ages trying to think of a war-based album. Two of the ones I thought of, I knew that if I recommended, Kai would not only kick off but refuse to participate.
What were they, just out of curiosity?
War by U2 and Viva La Vida by Coldplay.
Yeah, too right. Not listening to that shit.
So instead I'm picking the freewheeling Bob Dylan, because most of the songs are about Vietnam and Cold War and stuff like that.
Great album.
There we go. All right, so that is the album that we're going to talk about. And then, Chris, what is the film?
So the film is a 1971 film called Johnny Got His Gun, directed by Dalton Trumbo. Don't know if either of you have watched it, but it's basically an anti-war propaganda film, and it's incredibly miserable. Metallica based their song One off of it. I found out it's apparently out of print, but the full film is on YouTube, so I'll send you guys the link to watch it in the next week.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Wasn't Dalton Trumbo like a communist screenwriter?
Yeah.
He got blacklisted. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's that film about him starring Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah.
Yeah, it was his
looking forward to that.
One and only film, I think, that he actually made in the end.
Oh, cool.
Happy days. So we'll also tweet about it, so you can check it out, and then we can all talk about how you can share your sort of opinions, boosting the social media presence.
Exactly. Listener influence, listener engagement, sort of going.
Exactly. So if you want to watch the film, listen to the album, or if you've got opinions, you can tweet us, or you can follow us on Twitch. And I think you can message people on Twitch. We'll keep an eye on that, or email us. So that's Freewheeling by Bob Dylan, and then Johnny Got His Gun, which you said was available on YouTube to watch for free. So, I mean, we were trying to keep it true crime theme, and that was like whenever you sort of type in or try and research what songs were true crime, that one came out top, and the story behind it is just as bleak as the song. So I don't know if anyone properly listened to the lyrics, but I'll read the chorus out. So the first verse is Mary, Mary Bell with an uppercase M. All your neighbours know what your mother sells. So basically, her mother was a sex worker. That was it really, but everyone knew. So everyone at her school was picking on her for it. But you carved out a name for yourself, which is because Mary Bell carved an N into one of her victims' stomach, but had to come back later on and recarve an M into her. But the most depressing part of that is in 1968, the girl that song's about was 11 when she murdered 2 boys within the space of 2 months.
Bloody hell.
So 11-year-old Mary Bell strangled 2 boys in the span of 2 months. Bell came from a broken home with a teenage sex worker for her mother, and her father was an active criminal. They were arrested by the police shortly after the second murder, but Mary wasn't bothered and just said, "That's all right by me." Norma was apparently devastated, so the friend she was with, Mary, just wasn't bothered. She was quite happy. She served 12 years in prison, but she also managed to break out during her time in jail as well. So she had little free reign, and she gave birth later after her release, when she was given, when they're anonymous, that she was given anonymity.
Witness protection.
So she was given a new name. She's had a daughter, and she's now a grandmother. So
Good for her.
To be fair, it sounds like prison was probably like a better place for her, judging by the sound of her dad.
Well, she only got arrested for manslaughter, but she strangled the 2 boys herself.
Yeah, I guess they can't prosecute children for murder. I don't know. Don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works, but she did 12 years. Apparently, she was intelligent, manipulative, and dangerous.
An
I
inspiration
got
for
respect
us
her
Oh.
all.
though. Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of respect her.
Maybe the 2 boys' mothers probably don't respect her.
Yeah,
It's been
but
a
then
long
if you're
time,
picking
they
on
can
her,
get
being like
over
your mum's a slag, like what are you gonna do? You're not just gonna stand there and take it, are you? You got
I suppose. But that whole song's about it. The rest of the lyrics isn't, to be honest, not much better. So the final verse of the song is guinea pig hair and a twisted mouth, through a hole to the railway, and Brian's face down. Keep your wits, he will not be missed. Which I guess is about one of our victims. I think was Brian, and he will not be missed. And he didn't have a family to begin with. And then look out. Creepy.
Weirdly, I feel like worse for him just because his name's Brian. That's such an innocent name.
Yeah,
Like, no one called Brian's ever really done anything wrong.
Except for Brian Griffin on Family Guy, who's like a scumbag.
Isn't he the dog?
Yeah.
Fictional Brian Griffin. That's the only one we've got remorse for. So, yeah, that's the story. That's a good album as well. If you want to check out, we won't talk about it for the moment, but Learning, Perfume Genius, is that song, and then there is a couple more as well. But that is the end of the podcast pirate radio show. We're running a little boat that rocked going on here on Twitch.
Except better.
Exactly, except better. So you can follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, capital C to the capital T on Twitter. We'll start engaging, posting a lot more going forward, and you can get excited for next week's theme, War. Christian Kai,
Hopefully technical difficulties won't be as bad next week. Hopefully
and we'll be
smooth sailing.
Hopefully.
We'll be on
Fingers
from
crossed.
7 o'clock as well. We won't do it early next week. We're sticking to 7.
Yeah,
the
I think
lucky number.
7's the magic hour. Yeah, 7 till 8, the magic hour.
7 till 8. There we go. All right, Chris, do you want to play us out?